In this line, the writer is focusing on a category of persons.
Education has long been recognized as the best legacy for a nation's development. Successive governments and international partners have devoted huge resources to making sure that all children of school-going age receive education regardless of their status.
I have not been in this situation before, so when this happened, I decided to kill myself.
Some of them also hate us naturally because of our situation. Some of them think we are unuseful, so getting close to us is very difficult.
In response to the challenges confronting the education of students living with disabilities in Ghana, stakeholders have made concerted efforts to embrace the ideals of inclusive education. Further to that, in 2015, an inclusive education policy was developed and adopted to fulfill the aspirations of the 1992 Constitution, which guarantees education as a fundamental human right. The overarching goal of the policy is to ensure that schools identify children with different learning needs and adopt appropriate measures that will meet their learning requirements. My name is Emmanuel Jivenu, and in this documentary, I explore the implementation of the inclusive education policy in senior high schools, the successes, challenges, and loopholes.
In our English lesson, we are going to look at one of our selected poems.
It's a regular class, and these students are prepping for their end-of-term examinations. In here, visually impaired students study together with their sighted colleagues in an inclusive environment.
All the meanness and agony without end, comma.
Robert Amponsa was not born blind. For 20 years, he has seen the beauty of the world and made a lot of memories with friends and family. Memories he will relish for life. Unfortunately, his sight failed him just after sitting for the Basic Education Certificate Examination, BCE.
Actually, in 2020, in the month of September, after my BCE, I decided to go to Tema and work in one of the companies. Across the line, I've been experiencing some severe headache, so I don't take it as serious. I just take it as a normal headache, and unfortunately, the eye is going small, so I decided to visit a hospital, and they told me that it's glaucoma, so gradually, no matter what I'll do, it will go off.
Robert's blindness was sudden and unexpected. It left the young man constantly in tears, and the thoughts of having his eyes shut forever haunted him.
At the ending of December, and both of the eye went off. I have not been in this situation before, so when this happened, I decided to kill myself, but with the advice of my brothers and sisters, I did not do that. And it pains me a lot because I was not born with it, and across the line, it happens like this.
Robert had high hopes of seeing himself through senior high school, but his current condition has put a heavy burden on him.
After the BEC, during the school selection, I'm even confused. It's by God's grace, because the schools that I chose, yeah, I just chose it like that because after the BC I was tired and stressful, so the pressure on us to choose the school, and I just selected the schools like that. So Mikra, that the domain that I have Crampo, I mean, it's a wonderful, yeah, it's a miracle in my life, yeah.
His blindness at first made him question the essence of life and why he would continue going to school. But when Robert heard that Adidome SHS enrolls students with visual impairment, he had renewed energy to chase his dreams.
At the start of the school, the founders didn't have any idea that the school would be an inclusive school where visually impaired students or learners and the sighted learners will be studying together in our various classrooms and be using our various facilities.
The Adidome SHS began offering inclusive education to all Ghanaian students in 2008.
There is a basic school in Adidome here called Apakwadome Basic School. At that basic school, visually impaired students are admitted every year. And as that basic school turns out visually impaired students, there was the need for Adidome Senior High School to be a school that receives pupils from the Apakwadome Basic School. And that was the idea that led to the establishment of all-inclusive education in Adidome Senior High School, which began in 2008.
7 years later, government launched an inclusive education policy, charting a strategic path for all children with special educational needs. Learners with disabilities form a significant proportion of the out-of-school population. To realize the goal of full enrollment and completion, education for learners with special needs is critical. Inclusive education requires that schools be accessible to all students, including those with disabilities. However, many schools lack the necessary infrastructure, such as ramps and elevators, making it challenging for students with disabilities to attend school.
Some of the challenges has to do with our infrastructure. That's our resource center. A very small building that cannot contain all of us. During exams, some of us cannot enter the center, so those using the large prints must stay outside and write. They are scorched by the sun. And then if it is rain, then like during rain or shine, they are there. That's because we don't have the facilities to contain all of us. And also, like the environment somehow is not disability friendly to accommodate some of my friends, as in the toilet facilities and like other places they have to access.
It's not easy educating them since the school was not initially founded with the thought of giving inclusive education to visually impaired learners. So you realize that many of our facilities are also friendly and accessible to them. That is a serious threat that we have in their education.
In 2006, Ghana passed the Disability Law Act 715, which aimed at ending the discrimination that faces people with disabilities, but the 10-year moratorium given by the Act for old buildings to be renovated to disability-friendly status has indeed not been met.
Our road is somehow not good, so when the rain falls, see that the whole place is flooded, and some of my friends who cannot see at all, sometimes when they are moving on their own, you see them walking in water, and also some gutters are somehow uncovered.
So all the facilities we have on campus are not disability friendly. That is the major problem. Accessibility. Having access to the dormitory, the library, classroom, and then the dining hall is of a major challenge. And as I said earlier on, look at where we are sitting. It's not disability friendly. We have so many open gutters on campus, so many routes which can mislead the visually impaired. And some of them, at times, they get themselves hurt because of the unfriendly nature of the environment.
Adidome Senior High School welcomes students with a range of visual impairment, including those who are completely blind, as well as those with very low vision. This inclusive approach ensures that students with varying levels of visual impairment can study alongside their sighted peers. This is the resource center serving the visually impaired student here. It is a borrowed space which used to be the library of the science department. After attending regular classes, the visually impaired student come to this facility to access academic materials in a format readable to them. In here, students are expected to use assistive technologies including screen readers, braille displays, speech recognition software, and magnification tools.
Our resource building is very small to accommodate all of us during exams and other programs where we need to use the structure.
Every academic material, we have to produce the academic material for the student. Then apart from that, we do what we call transcription. When they go to class, they are given exercises and assignment. They write it in their format, that is the braille. But because the teachers who are teaching them in the classroom are not specialized in that aspect, the works are brought back to us. Then we have to transcribe and then send back to the teachers to mark. So it involves a lot.
Unfortunately, the gadgets in here are not only inadequate, most of them are malfunctioning, and this is hampering the delivery of education. Also, this resource center is not spacious enough to accommodate the student with special needs.
Currently, we have a borrowed resource center for the visually impaired students. The place they are using as a resource room or center is a science lab library, the library meant for the science lab. It's a small environment, and that is all that they have been using all over the years. Now that the number is 37, they still use that small library as their resource center. So many of them cannot really go into such a small room. So you see that when you are coming to Adidome Senior, you find them on the veranda of the Science Resource Center. So I'll say that they virtually don't have a good resource center.
The computers, most of them are not working. As at now, only 2 that are working. So we are appealing to people to come into our aid, especially the resource center. Here we are sitting now is serving as our office, our storeroom, learning center for the students, and then the ICT center. So and then look at how choked is it. Our prayer is that one day, a philanthropist or any corporate body will come into our aid and put up a magnificent, disability-friendly resource center for us. If we are able to get that, I can assure you that our visually impaired will excel more than what we are seeing today.
Currently, because we have the visually impaired learners with us, to make them comfortable to receive the needed attention, we feel that it's a very serious priority for us, that among all other challenges we face, the focus is on them. How do we ensure that they have they live in a better condition, and they feel comfortable to go through their education. So we sympathize a lot with them. So the center is a serious priority for us, and our interest is to have it constructed so that they will also feel dignified in living in a good environment that suits them, that supports their effective learning. That is the aim. We need it very badly. We need it very badly. We feel so bad when we see them struggling like that.
Regular schools with an inclusive orientation are the most effective means of combating discrimination, building an inclusive society, and achieving education for all. Many sighted students in this school are beginning to appreciate the way of life of their visually impaired colleagues and interact with them in a conducive manner.
If this has not been introduced, it means that the visually impaired are only going to stay in the house. They are only going to be in the house, just, I don't know, no learning, no interaction, nothing. So it means since this has been introduced, they will also feel the education system that we have in this world. They will also interact with the sighted ones, learn more from them, and also feel happy.
Despite the strides made over the years to eliminate all forms of discrimination against persons living with disabilities, there is still a lot of work to be done.
Majority of them don't understand our way of life. It's only those who are close to us, and even some of them have misconception about us that, like, when you get closer to us, you also become unimpaired. Some of them also like hate us naturally because of our situation, and some of them, I don't know, some of them think we are unuseful, so getting close to us is very difficult. But those close to us are seeing that we are not what their other colleagues think about us.
When I came here, I did not take it easy. Yeah, I did not take it easy because I notify one thing that in every institution that a VI will find himself, there is a discrimination. Yeah, that's what I notify here, because at times people are afraid that when they come closer to you, maybe they will have the same problem.
When we came, we were interested in finding out whether this school has ever had someone who is visually impaired leading the school. And yeah, some of our past seniors told us that they went for positions, but due to their situation, they were disqualified. And one teacher even confirmed that they asked him whether he has picked the broom to sweep before. And that question alone disqualified him due to his problem. He does not work.
There was an instance where they were vying for the SP, the senior prefect position, but because of the misconception, some of them were disqualified. That how can a visually impaired lead somebody who is normal input? So they were discriminated against. Anytime they contest, they don't pick them because of that misconception. They don't pick them. So in that aspect, there is a little discrimination going on there.
Discrimination in any form undermines the principle of inclusivity, the belief that every student has unique strength and should be valued for their contributions rather than their disabilities.
I'm not giving up because my parents encourage me a lot to learn, and my teachers as well also encourage me. Encourage not only me per se, but my colleagues. They encourage us to learn. So giving up is not in my blood.
Points line by line, and then
Building confidence in the abilities of persons living with disabilities plays a very important role in dealing with stereotypes. Pearl and a host of her colleagues have a mission to change the narrative about persons living with disabilities.
I came together with my colleagues. We advise each other, encourage each other that some of us must join some groups in the school to prove to others that we can also do things like, let's say, speaking up for ourselves or showing their talent to show the world that they are also useful in a lot of fields, in political fields, entertainment fields, sporting fields, and other fields.
This is the sitting of the Adidome SHS Parliament. Pearl and her majority caucus are pushing for the reintroduction of mixed prep in their school. They argue that boys and girls bring different viewpoints to the table, which exposes them to a broader range of ideas as well as enriching the overall learning experience.
Right, Honorable Speaker, according to my investigation at the boys prepping block, you realize that some boys have the chance to bully their juniors whilst they are at prep due to single prepping.
The visually impaired students in the school participate in other extracurricular activities such as sports, drama, and the choir. This has helped foster a sense of belonging among the VIs and gradually breaking stereotypes.
My experience with these students shows that they are as brilliant as their sighted peers. And there are some who are even more brilliant than their sighted peers. When you interact with them, you know that they have high potentials that must be developed. And since they entered, they've been doing very well. Almost all of them moved to the tertiary. There are some who have become professionals. Now, the first batch, among the first batch, one is teaching at Mauli Senior High School. When you see him, we invite him sometimes to Adidome Senior High to talk to their colleagues. You see him, you see that he is making positive impacts in the life of the school. The others are all over at all walks of life, and they are doing very well. They are intelligent students.
The management of Adidome SHS has gone their way to seek support from all quarters in order to put up a fit-for-purpose resource center for the student living with visual impairment. But their effort is yet to yield results.
So far, we have made appeals to various NGOs. We wrote a lot of letters to some NGOs, VRA. We wrote to TOR, that will be TOR, for support. We wrote to some other NGOs for support, but we have not heard. We haven't heard any good response from them.
Our expectation is that in the next 5 to 6 years to come, the enrollment of visually impaired students will increase because of their performance. If I should mention the names one by one and where they are today, you could see that Adisek is a small village, but we are being recognized. We are doing a lot. We are doing a lot. Only that the equipment that they need are very expensive, which most of the parents cannot afford. We need the assistance of corporate bodies, NGOs, Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, the government. We need support from individuals who can support us so that we can do more than what we are doing now.
Are you flowing with us?
My appeal to the government or other non-governmental organizations is to come to the aid of Adidome Senior High School to help put up a facility which will be able to accommodate the large number of visually impaired we have in this school, and also finish up some projects which they have left unfinished to be able to accommodate students with visual impairment.
Despite the challenges Robert and Pearl face, they still have their eyes fixated on their future plans in making a difference in their communities.
I want to be a teacher so that I should be able to educate people how to cooperate with the visually impaired, or how to manage with people with disabilities. Yeah, at times people in our various community don't know how to manage their VIs, and moreover we have more opportunities for the VI, but because people don't know, they just leave them like that in the community.
I see my future as bright because I'm studying to become a lawyer or a human rights activist, because my dad encourages me a lot, my mom as well. So I see my future to be very bright.
Yes, secret convulsive.
Ghana's education system needs sweeping changes to ensure that it adapts to persons living with disabilities rather than expecting the student to adapt to the system. All aspects of education, including the curriculum, teaching methods, assessment, school culture, and environment, must present opportunities for promoting inclusion. But until then, the likes of Robert and Pearl will continue to face discrimination in accessing their fundamental human right, education.